What's up, guys? Welcome back to Stephen Somerville Irish Rugby, ahead of the big second test between South Africa and the British and Irish Lions. And I've normally been doing this previews by myself, but I've been joined tonight by a good friend of mine from all the way from Scotland, Kyle from Kapo Starkey. Just want to say, mate, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, good, Stephen. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. I'm sure. Whenever you, I'm sure we've been over the first test, and I'm sure. See, last week was very much a case of the first half was very much not the Lions, it was all South Africa. But then in the second half, fair play to the Lions. I thought the players we had to come off the bench were immense, helping us get in that victory. Before we get into it, how did you think about the us making that comeback where it didn't look like we were gonna make it? We were gonna make that comeback in Sarah. How did you make that great comeback?
Yeah, no, I think the substitutes did make a difference. I thought the tactical change up worked a lot better as well. They cut out the silly penalties, which was a big letdown in the first half of the Lions. Also, I have to say, I think South Africa's fitness played a part as well because they didn't look as fit as maybe like a lot of us probably expected. I expect that'll be different come tomorrow. I expect them to be more a lot better in that department. But no, on the whole, that second half comeback, Lions got most of the tactics mostly spot on. You could argue a little bit of luck with that Willie LaRue disallowed try, although I think though it was marginal. I think the decision to disallow the try was correct. But no, yeah, as I was saying, just generally got it right, and took advantage, I think, of some sloppy South African ill discipline as well. It has to be said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was a bit surprised when South Africans were a bit sloppy because I thought the way they were set up by by the coach, it was very much the case of you're looking at a South African team that were very much coming in from a win against Georgia, and then a sort of full team win against the Lions in the South Africa A team. So they got 2 games under the belt, and it was just a case of I think the Lions matched it up. I think Gallon at halftime sort of thought I think he changed something that worked, and it definitely played into fruition. I just thought that I thought certain players should have done better, but then there were certain players that had a great game overall in the first half to sort of not make it worse. But yeah, it was a great win overall. That's why, but it's all about going forward because these whenever you think of a second test here, the second tests are big because now a lot of fans have been speculating that this second test tomorrow is going to be even more intense than what 2009 was. Now, remember, if you don't know what 2009 was,
yes.
so the British and Irish Lions went to South Africa in 2009. I was only about 10 at the time. I remember hearing the second test on the radio on the way to a wedding, but yeah, remember hearing the whole game, and it felt like it was very much end to end stuff. But unfortunately, it didn't go our way. Like the first test was won by South Africa. Then the second test was won by the South Africans again by a very late penalty to win them the test overall. So we've got some revenge on our hands here, but these next 2 tests will be crucial and big, and I'm not looking forward to watching it all because I know it's not going to be easy whatsoever. Now, onto the starting lineup. Not much changes into the squad, but Mako Vinapola has come in for Rory Sutherland after his brilliant second half performance coming on. He's along with Luke Cowan-Dickey, Ty Furlong, Mario Toje, Alwyn Jones the captain. Courtney Laws retains his space with Tom Curry and Jack Conan. And in the back lines, Conor Murray has come in for Ali Price. Dan Bigger remains his place. Johan van der Merwe keeps his place along with Robbie Henshaw. Chris Harris comes in to partner Robbie Henshaw on the centres with Anthony Watson and Stuart Hogg making up that 14 and 15. And on the bench, we've got the same sort of, Ken Owens, Roy Sutherland's on the bench for the first time, Cal Sinclair, Type Byrne, Falatah comes back in on the bench. Ali Price has dropped to the bench, Owen Farrell and Elliot Daly on the bench. So I'm sure it wasn't as. Do you think like Ali Price? Now I know you praise him very highly for Scotland, and with Conor Murray coming back in, do you think Gallon's thinking of something different here, and for Murray coming in the second test, where it's clearly going to be crucial into how we want to wrap up this series or not? So, are you a bit sort of mixed opinions with Ali Price being dropped for Conor Murray here?
I think it's a bit harsh on Ali Price because I thought he had an excellent game and more than justified his start in that first test. I think it's probably a more experienced thing bringing Conor Murray back in at 9. But I mean, I have to say, like, even though he's been like going into the series, he was starting to come near his best again. During the series, he's been like, well, not the series, sorry, the tour. He's been a bit mixed bag when he's played Conor Murray. His box kicking's been so. He did actually pretty well, to be fair, when he came on in the first test. But I think it is an experience thing above anything else, and probably like more in the pragmatic side, which, to be honest, I can understand in maybe from a reactive sense, because we know the Springboks are going to come out, all guns blazing the first 20 minutes at the very least, because they're going to be like they're just going to be so pumped up, like, because the South Africans, as we know, absolutely hate losing anywhere. Maybe that, get that kind of experience in those early stages is maybe why Murray's brought back in. But I think Price showed throughout the tour, even not just on last week, that he's definitely been the form 9, and I think it's harsh of Gatlin just to leave him out. But for the experience point of view, I get where he's coming from as well.
I mean, yeah, definitely agree. I mean, I thought it was harsh too, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, even as an Irishman, I didn't want Conor Murray in there, because I just thought that, when I ever say Conor Murray lately, he hasn't lived up to the standards of what he used to, like a few years ago. And, it's you just get a bit tired of seeing him doing the same mistakes over and over again. And, it's just a case of, I wouldn't be confident in Conor Murray having a good performance tomorrow. And that's not me saying that because, he's been bad, but it's because of the performances he's been putting in the international level as well. So, I would have had Ali Price in all day long, but if Gatland is sort of thinking ahead of this game plan that he's looking to go tomorrow, then and he has a good game, then we'll all praise him for having a good game, and because that's typical of us overreacting before a game. Then after the game, he could have a good game, but you never know with Conor Murray. I just hope he has a good game. I want him to redeem himself. So and I'll keep him in Scotland. Chris Harris has come in to pair alongside Robbie Henshaw. Now, Elliot Daly partnered Robbie Henshaw last week in the first test. Now, I thought Elliot Daly was one of the least amount of players I was impressed with, if I'm being honest with you, because I thought Elliot Daly, he hasn't had a good season for England. He's playing for a Saracens team. He played for a Saracens team, even though they're up in the Premiership now. He was playing for a Saracens team that were in the second division of English rugby, and he had a good games for them, but it wasn't up to the top level. So I find Elliot Daly and Robbie Henshaw, partnership not too great to help that going forward. I think that was the one area I thought was a bit of a weak link. But now with Chris Harris coming in, how do you think that will improve? Do you think that will improve it, or do you think Robbie Henshaw and Chris Harris they'll know what will happen, and do you think it'll work?
No, I think from a defensive point of view, I do think Chris Harris has more about him than Elliot Daly in that 13 position. But I mean, I thought, like you say, like obviously Elliot Daly was the weak link last week. I mean, I was kind of like ashamed because he has played very well at 13 throughout the tour, and I think I'm with those people who say that 13 is probably his best position. And I was actually quite excited to see him and Henshaw together last week because I think there was good variety there. Obviously, Henshaw with his ability to crash up, his ability to offload, his good stepping. Of course, he's got a very good rugby brain as well. And then Elliot Daly on the outside of that to give that sort of variety and that width and that good. And he's got obviously that excellent left boot. With regards to Chris Harris, I think from a defensive point of view, he's a bit more solid than Daly is. And from an attacking point of view, I think he'll link up well to the outside. He'll maybe lack that ability to clear the clearance kick because obviously he doesn't. He's not really a kicking 13 Harris, but. I mean, I think it could be a good combination, and Chris Harris has obviously also done very well throughout the tour as well. So yeah, I think it could be a fair call, but also I think also to look at the physicality of the box centres as well is I think another reason why Harris was brought in because that's where Elliot Daly did struggle last week. He did, his positional sense at times wasn't as good as it could have been, and his physically he didn't seem to. Stand up to Am or Delande as much as a lot of folk maybe think he could have done, but I think that's a big reason why Harris is there as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I remember I actually was picking Owen Farrell ahead of Chris Harris.
Okay.
In my starting predicted lineup before the team was announced because I thought I thought Owen Farrell now, even though Owen Farrell hasn't lived up magic this year, and I know he can have a hot head sometimes with the likes of a Sexton as well. I seriously thought if Owen Farrell could team up with Robbie Henshaw, it could have worked. But I can see what Gatland's doing here. I think I would be more confident in Chris Harris over Owen Farrell, over more because I feel like know you need a centre. You need a good centre partnership that's going to work. And I think Chris Harrison an out centre and Robbie Henshaw is an out centre. I don't like the whole thing of players being out of position, if you get what I mean. But let's just hope it's a good combination, and we don't have to worry about any more of that going forward. We keep rotating. But I'm going to move on to another point, just one more point on the team. I want to point out the stars that sort of lit up last week. I want to talk about Courtney Laws, Mario Toja, and Jack Conan. I generally believe they had their best games in a while. Like, first off, Jack Conan. This was someone who only had one game in number 8 for Ireland. That was against England in the last game. Now, for me, Jack Conan has come in sort of playing for Leinster as number 8, and he's ahead of Valata, he's ahead of Sam Simmons, and it's the case of like, I think Jack Conan's been the star number 8 in this tour. I mean, I don't know if you agree, Cal. You wouldn't change anything for Jack Conan. I mean, Jack Conan has sort of come into this tour and he's made the number 8 shirt his own, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think it's safe to say, because everyone was obviously touting Folau for his experience. Obviously, Sam Simmons, like how he was ripping up. He's been ripping up at Exeter this past season. But no, I mean, Conan's like, he's just showing like, folk like can barely speak about him, and he's just been excellent as carrying as well. And there's a particular reason why also Gatlin has taken 3 number 8s that are more ball players rather than sort of, because he could have easily gone for the more like big truck up number 8s like a CJ Stander or Billy Vunipola, but he's gone for obviously number 8 to the more ball players, and I think that's shown work. Jack Conan's been excellent at that. He's been popping up in the wide channels very well. He's been carrying, running good straight lines when he needed to as well. And I think like he was the top carrier last week as well. I mean, he's doing the, as well as obviously all the sort of more athletic ball playing stuff. He's doing the carrying stuff very well as well. So no, I mean, absolutely fully deserves his spot. And I think it's also very encouraging because we all make assumptions about Gatlin that he's this kind of coach. He's got his set. Okay. Stephen, you okay, mate? Stephen's internet is gone, or he's frozen, or I don't know. Oh, well, it looks like it's just me for a few minutes, folks. Hang on, I'll just see if I can see if any comments or whatnot. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Frozen.
Yeah, cool.
Frozen connections again. You know what I mean? He hit them, just had to hit them. But I'm sure, yeah, you were saying about Jack Conan. Hasn't put a for Raw number 8. I think Gallen's going to remain Conan as that number 8 because I'm sure the carries he's making that's going to make the difference. And so I generally believe there's no change in that. So to finish off, just 2 more players here.
Okay.
Mario Toja and Courtney Laws. Now, Mario Toja and Courtney Laws were coming into this tour like Mario Toja sort of had a mixed season with England as well. Courtney Laws only come back from, he didn't have England. I don't think it's ever England in this conditions, but he was playing for Northampton or just coming back to fitness. Now, Courtney Laws and Mario Toja, for me, I was picking to see which man was man of the match, but I thought Courtney Laws did really well to get that man of the match as well as Mario Toja having a great game. Now, for you, how did they perform in your standards, and do you see them starting going forward? Because I know there's the likes of Type Byrne and the likes of Ian Henderson will come on and make a point as well. So do you think Courtney Laws and Mario Toja or Neil Dawn starters going forward?
Yes, I have to say so. I thought Mario Toja last Saturday, that's the best performance I've seen from him in a while. I mean, not that he's been like absolutely terrible this year, but like his performance was just immense in the first test. Courtney Laws in that second half as well. I think it just showed like the Live Smart Gatland is actually picking him at 6, and not just because he gives that third line out option, but also his carrying and his tackling and his athleticism as well. Just what he brings to the team, and he's one of both of them are actually like two forwards that can consistently knock the box players backwards with their tacklings. I'm not saying other players in the pack or can't tackle, but in terms of just consistently, just the ability to knock the big box forwards backwards, those two have it in them to do that pretty much all day long, and they've proved that. They showed that in the first test as well, I think. So no, I think they've both definitely nailed on their positions for the rest of the Tour SA, barring injury.
Let's just hope there's no injury, because I fear that if Corey Laws is to get an injury, that I'm not saying a Ty Burn will to go and do a job, but you just never know in these situations where the injury could.
Tad Burn's absolutely capable. I mean, because I think there is a right balance there with having him in the sort of second row and the back row slots, because obviously both Byrne and Courtney Laws can slot into the second row if they need a replacement there. So I think it is a good balance they got, and Byrne obviously as well, I think gives something extra with the choke tackle as well. So I think that coming off the bench as well is good.
I mean, he wasn't particularly in my eyes the player of the tournament of the Six Nations. He absolutely had that number 6 position his own, and to have him on the bench, it gives you that breathing space where we don't have to worry who's coming off the bench. So that's good to see. Now I'm going to move on to how South Africa approach this test here. So in your eyes, Cal, they're gonna be up for this match, and they're gonna want to make a statement here in the second test. They don't want to sort of like be bullied again than what they had in the second half. So how do you see South Africa approaching this second test, and do you think they'll be fired up for it?
I think they'll be absolutely fired up for it. I mean, if Rassie Erasmus hasn't done enough trolling this week with his.
Well, I was gonna get onto that point after.
Okay. No, don't worry, mate. We can get onto that fully later if you want. That's fine. But I just, but no, I think absolutely they'll be fired up. I mean, we know like the Springboks, their history, like they hate losing, any test match, let alone a series. So they're going to be, as I said at the start, the first 20 minutes, they are just going to be like, absolutely all over it. And that's where like the Lions need to make sure they're smart with their plays, and obviously physically they're going to be absolutely like bruising after 20 minutes, because the Boks are just going to be going out to prove a point. I also think the Boks will be, as I said earlier, a lot fitter this week. I think because having more time together and getting that up to speed. So I think but I think they will be a lot more ready and a lot more for it, and also they'll be a lot more clinical than they were last week. So that makes for a very, very interesting test match there.
Oh, it does. I'm already losing my nerves over it already, because I don't want us to bottle it, but yeah, there you go. So anyway, on to the next point we're just about to make here before we get into anything else. There's been a lot of comments this week by the South African coach Rassie, and it's been sort of the comments where it's like, are you sure you should be saying that before like a big test game, or they're just outrageous comments? What's your thoughts on these comments, Cal? For me, they're just weird and bizarre to see.
Yeah, I mean the whole, I don't know, the whole like Johan thing, the whole thing with Twitter. I don't know, that to me, I think like this is maybe just my perspective. I think we can all have a bit of a laugh with that. You can say, was that him, or was he a bit of a troll? But the whole hour-long rant thing about the referees and that, I thought, like, what are you going on? What are you going on here? I mean, because you could go through, I think, every game, and you could just nitpick things referees miss. But because I think actually Nick Berry on the whole had a very good game in that first test. I mean, I think the one decision, like, there's a couple of decisions like you maybe think, okay, sorry, could have done better there, but that's the same with every referee. And I think on balance of play, he got it right. He got most of the decisions right, and South Africa really have only themselves to blame for how many penalties they gave away in that second half as well, for losing it as they did. So, I mean, again, whether you could argue whether it's like a pre-game tactic thing, like the sort of the.
I was just gonna say that, like, if we actually see him playing banks of mind games here before going into a test, that could that we don't know how the end result could be, but it could be very much the case of he's playing these mind games where he wants to complain to these refs that these decisions are not going his way. Like, do you think these mind games could go against him, and we could end up being on the winning side here?
To be honest, Stephen, this is just my perspective. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong here, but the way I see it is like, because Eddie Jones, maybe not to the extent that Rassi went this week, but Eddie Jones normally plays the kind of mind games before the test, and I don't really think they have that much relevance on the outcome of the day. I think when it comes to the day, it's 30 players like smashing into each other, and it really comes down to that and how much. Again, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong here. I don't think the mind games play a massive factor there, but again, it gives us a lot to talk about. It gives the journalists a lot to write about as well. So, I mean, but with the way it's been handled, both with Rassi Rasmussen and Saya Khaleesi, I mean, again, Saya Khaleesi is entitled to come out with his opinion, but him saying he didn't feel respected by Nick Berry, I mean, I'm not sure. I didn't see any evidence of that, but I mean, just that's just my viewing of it. There's others might think differently.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I hope I think he needs to sort of lay back on what he says after the second test if he wants to complain more. But look, I'm sure there'll be plenty of mind games going on in the match anyway. Who knows between these sides? Because I know it's going to be hell breaking stuff and could be end to end. And maybe a fight could break out. Who knows in rugby? But we'll have to wait and see. So we're just coming up to the end of the video here. But I'll just ask one more question for you, Cal. Tomorrow, how do you see this game going, and what's the final score going to be?
I think, as I said before, I think the Boks are going to come out firing in the first 20 minutes. And I think the Lions are going to need to, I don't know how to describe it, just be absolutely ready for a bruising. Because, but I think it is going to be tight. And I think I'm sticking with my prediction. It's going to be one score either way, whether it's going to be, I can't tell. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to predict. But I mean, I predicted in my video that South Africa would take this by one score. But I mean, it's just so hard to call, isn't it? I think it will go either way. Like I think, and I think all three of these tests are going to be like that. But
for me, the way I see this game going, it's going to be. I think that the Lions will. I'm going to reverse what you said. I think the Lions will get the good start. I think they will. I think by the second half starts, we'll still have the good play, but South Africa will gradually get back into it, and be one of the situations will be just so tight you just can't call. It'll just go right to the wire, and so we don't even know. We could win the Test series tomorrow, and the series could be over. And there's a fair test to who knows what that'll be. But look, you never know these situations. Tomorrow we could be. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that it just reminds me of that 2009 second test. I think it's going to be at the very least as physical as that. And again, I think that obviously a lot of depends how the Lions are going into the last 20 minutes is deciding who's going to get the win or not, I have to say, because I think the Boks has shown they've got both a reserve on the bench. They can keep smashing their opponents back all day long. And as I said, I think they will be a lot fitter than they were last week. So there'll be a lot more focus there. So, I think it's just going to be how the Lions cope with it in the last 20 minutes and what the score is going to be, and we'll see.
Well, to be honest with you, I look at the bench. Ali Price is on the bench. Falatau, Burns, Sinclair, Sutherland, Ken Owens. I genuinely believe they'll come on and hopefully make a difference. And, let's hope it works in our favor.
Very possible, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, from my perspective, I'm going to go for a score of Lions 24, South Africa 21. This has got shades of New Zealand versus Lions second test all over again 4 years ago, where we beat the All Blacks in Wellington, and it could. We don't even know if we're going to blitz them. I don't think we're going to blitz them. I think South Africa won't let that happen again. So it's just a case of us doing our job and hopefully winning the test series tomorrow. And just hopefully, you just never know in these situations, but. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this preview video with Kyle. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I'm sure we're all going to be nervous tomorrow by early afternoon because the game will kick off at 5 o'clock. And if anyone don't know, make sure to check it out on Sky Sports. It's going to be on there, so make sure to check it out because it's going to be end-to-end stuff, and hopefully we get some revenge on what they did in 2009 because I want that badly because I remember it and it wasn't nice. So. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next video, my match reaction show. Thank you to Cal for coming on.
Thanks so much, Stephen.
just want to say, where can I find you to catch up with your rugby content?
Oh yes, I'm on my YouTube channel. Of course, just Kapo Starkey. Just look at or Kapo Starkey Rugby. And so you can catch me on Instagram or Twitter. Again, just Kapo Starkey Rugby, and or just Kapo Starkey, and that's fine.
Nice. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Let's hope the Lions take over the W tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.